Hey, if the cops want to get violent with you and physically torture you, then they can get away with it. They'll make some excuse and it's magically okay. Well, it's not magically okay. Now let's use Boulder, Colorado for our example. I had over 300 people that I knew die in a 10-year period due to bad laws and bad law enforcement. Now, in order for these cops to register it in their head how many of us they've killed, we would have to kill as many of them. Could you imagine how the nation would react if 300 cops from Boulder were killed in a 10-year period? That would be equal, though, would it not? They're literally murdering us with exposure. They're literally beating us to death. They are literally shooting us to death. They are literally murderers. Then you get cops who want to play fucking stupid, which is literally all of them. All of them will play fucking stupid when you try to turn in a cop. You know what happens when you get violent? They blame you. They pretend like every single thing that ever happened to you must be your fault because you're violent. You don't even have to get violent to be getting fucking tagged as violent. So what happens if you fight back that way? They kill you. They call you mentally ill and they use you as an excuse to kill the next guy. Well, that ain't too bright, is it? We get that the rules are different for us than they are for others. People are allowed to threaten our lives. They're allowed to kill our families. They're allowed to threaten our niece. They're allowed to threaten our nephews. They're allowed to do whatever the fuck they want to us. They're allowed to threaten, harass, and intimidate whoever the hell they want. Without somebody in your corner, you just have to take it. Through all this, I can't say I ever had anybody in my corner because I didn't. People got the whole grass is greener on the other side thing going on. Oh, Sean, have you tried moving? Of course I've tried fucking moving. See, even when I speak out about the violence, about how horrible it is that at-risk adults have to go in by themselves, they're going to get blown off every time. People don't give a fuck about the disabled. They don't give a fuck. Well, they do, actually. You need somebody to victimize, don't you? When you have a bad day, you need somebody that you can take it out on. Some of y'all, you get all tied up in the drama of Will Smith. You get all tied up in the drama of Johnny Depp. God, you guys love getting into that shit, but when your own friends, when people that you know in real life are fucking freezing to death on the streets and you say nothing, and the cops are beating your friends to death and you say nothing, they're not your friends. You don't care about them. Not enough to stand up. But what happens if you stand up? You become a target. There's people that helped me out that were targeted in the way that homeless people are targeted. Candace Bondurant targeted how homeless people are. Same thing with Dallas Richmond. You hear about the homeless laws, right? I tell people about them and they want to pretend like I'm making it up. Cops would never do that, and then the cops do it to them. And they're like, man, I don't get it. I don't understand. Well, I do. You had a chance to stand up to them. You had a chance to tell the truth. You had a chance. You had every chance to do the right thing. Now, when we got cops that are incredibly stupid, or rather going out of their way to play incredibly stupid, such as the situation with law enforcement nationwide when you try to turn in law enforcement. I do understand that many of you, the only solution that you're willing to look at is a violent solution. And I'm not telling you that violence is not ever okay. A lot of people seem to think that we should smile through everything. Your best friend died? Well, you should be happy about it. Your daughter died? You should be happy about it. Your son died? You should be happy about it. Do you guys push that on others? That they should be happy when their loved ones are killed? That they should just get over it? That they should just man up? That they wanted, needed, chose it, or deserved it? I say mean shit back. I certainly do. But the mean shit that I have to say is for a reason. It's not like I'm railing against everybody for no reason whatsoever. Like I was walking down the street one day and went, hey, I got a great idea. I'm going to be an asshole to everybody. No. So yesterday, I missed a call from the district attorney here. Obviously trying to get some legal action done instead of getting violent with people. Despite the fact that the officers here created a safety issue for me and, well, really haven't given a shit about it. They don't think they did anything wrong. Well, all right, fine. Everybody washes their own hands of their sins, right? Nobody screws up but Sean. Nobody is to blame. Nobody is to be held responsible except for the one person who is, well, actually not to be held legally responsible. I did everything that I was supposed to. When that didn't work, I did desperate shit because people were fucking dying. Yes, if we were to be equal with the police, well, they'd be too afraid to put on a fucking badge. If we treated the cops the way they treat us, there'd be a lot of dead cops. A lot of them. So it's a good thing, I suppose, for the police that they're such monsters. It's a good thing for them that most of the homeless are cowards. They are. You know, they've been kicked around their whole lives. They already gave up before they ever get started. Sean, I care. Enough to speak up? Enough to actually do something? No. Your solutions are always violent. Candace Bondurant's solutions were violent. Sarah Bacon's solutions are violent. Even Dallas had violent solutions. Jayhawk, man, his solutions were violent. And all these people who want to come up with violent solutions, who promised they would help, but then in the end, all they want to do is talk about getting violent with people. Well, you're not going to get violent with them. You're going to talk about it. Now, what happens if... Well, we'll use me as an example. Let's say if I was to go out and shoot people. If I was to go out and shoot the people who killed my friends. and bragged about it, like Officer Steinman, then they would use the mentally ill tag to try to pretend that Officer Steinman didn't have it coming. I'm just some crazy guy who goes after people for no reason. He's got mental issues. I do believe that there is a time and a place for absolute violence, where it is absolutely necessary. Somebody breaks into your house with a shotgun with the intent of killing you and your family. Well, yeah, it's probably a good idea not to just stand there and watch them shoot your whole fucking family. You're not going to be fucking happy if somebody comes in and blasts your family, are you? You're not going to be happy about it. You're not just going to get over it. Moving on isn't going to bring your fucking friends and family back. Moving to a new place doesn't bring your friends and family back. And after you've been slandered the way that I have, you don't get to go anywhere without bullshit. Now, if the homeless were to get together and kill 300 homeless, or kill 300 officers in Boulder, yes, that would absolutely make a difference. That would absolutely scare the living shit out of those motherfuckers, and they would stop or they would go on the ground too. When you want to talk about equality, I'm going to tell you what equality would be, all right? For the rest of the country. You guys being beaten to death for being broke. You guys getting treated like child molesters and having to register as sex offenders for having to pee at 2 o'clock in the morning. Equality would be you guys not allowed to use a blanket without having to work 6 weeks to pay off every night that you use that blanket. Equality would mean killing as many of them as they're killing of us. You guys fully support this, don't you? You support it everywhere else but here. You say it's wrong to treat human beings this way in Ukraine. Hey, we got to give the Ukrainians a bunch of weapons that we paid for. We're not allowed to have those weapons to defend ourselves, but we can sure as hell send it to foreign countries. Meanwhile, these cops are still killing us, still don't have any fucking morality. They still don't connect in their heads that we are fucking human beings. Violence doesn't work because, first of all, you guys are too cowardly to do that. You're too cowardly to open your fucking mouths and tell the fucking truth. Of course you're not going to shoot anybody. You're a fucking coward. You will watch them kill your entire family, according to your advice. Just let it go. Just move on. Yeah, some friends you are. When your friend comes to you about abuse that they're enduring, they're coming to you for help. They're not coming to you because they need somebody just to whine to. A lot of people thought that was me. Oh, Sean, I want to be your friend. Oh, I don't know you from fucking Adam. You just sent me a friend request. I have no fucking clue whether or not you're even a real person. I mean, obviously, it's a real person that's typing with me. But is it their real name? Is that their real picture? Are they a pretendy somebody like Layla Johnson or Kara Johnson Miles? So all these people that want to claim that they was going to help, they wanted to help. Well, there's a way to help. And that way is to find a way to stop the violence, and that means people speaking up instead of being cowards. Those of you who keep suggesting killing people and assaulting people and all this other crap, no, absolutely not. Like, all right, Sarah Bacon, for example. I've got 3 phone calls recorded with her. Maybe 2. 3, I think. I think I have 3. And although she knows a lot of stuff and she should be speaking up about it, she doesn't. Instead, she talks to me for an hour or so about shit that, well, it's got nothing to do with my situation. I end up hearing most of these people's situations. They get drunk and they want to talk about themselves, and you tell me a bunch of stuff that you should have told the police. I'm not going to be happy about the fact that you still haven't come forward to the police. Where are my fucking cigarettes? Through all of this, I tried to do everything that I could to help out law enforcement in finding Natalie Bollinger. And then I did everything I could to try to help find her killer, while being threatened, harassed, and assaulted everywhere that I went. Being told that I wanted, needed, and chosen and deserved it. No, when somebody fucking lies about you, and you have to go through all this because somebody fucking lied, and then people want to pretend that because you're frustrated, you're the bad guy. They're allowed to get frustrated. They're allowed to get angry. They're allowed to fucking assault you, for Christ's sake. Welcome to homelessness, people. Divide and conquer. The police run around and tell you that everybody else is on fucking drugs. They tell everybody else that you're on drugs. Reminds me of Jamie Curtis and her fucking playing. They tell you one thing and tell me another, and then they won't work together, so they get to play stupid. Like those cops. Oh, I didn't hear it. Well, of course, you weren't fucking there. I need you both there at the same time to fucking coordinate. If you're going to argue with me for 6 goddamn months about what this place that you sent me to told me, because you just assume that that's their job, well, if they tell me it's not their job, are you going to make them enforce it? Are you going to enforce your opinion of what their job is? Are you going to find out if that's their job or not? Or are you going to argue with me for 3 fucking weeks? It's stupid. Meg, after months and months and months, finally made calls with me. She got the same response that I did. Now, if she'd have made those calls earlier, instead of arguing with me, things would have turned out differently. Or could have turned out differently. There's no guarantee they were ever going to listen to her to begin with. So then they say that I have the same rights as everyone else, but they don't observe my rights, do they? So no, I don't have the same rights as everyone else. My rights are based on your opinions. They want to paint me as a violent schizophrenic who's chopping people up into little pieces, and you people eat it up like it's fucking candy. Then you get a hold of me, and you threaten to kill my family, and you threaten to kill my friends. Well, I don't have any friends, so good luck with that. I'm their friend. It's not reciprocated. My friends went through hell before I spoke up, and I still speak up to this day. What the hell makes these idiots think, after sticking up for their rights as hard as I did, what the hell makes them think I'm just going to lay down and fucking take it when my rights are violated? You say lead by example. I am. If you're not willing to stand up to these people, nothing ever changes. Now, if we pressure them cops, they do have to do their jobs. If you pressure them enough, see, that's why they utilize the news to make me a target. They knew that they'd fucked up. They just wanted to cover it up. And while the cops are all fine with lying, they're taught to lie, they're trained to lie, they're trained to physically torture you, literally. They call it pain compliance. Imagine if I went and killed everybody that ever did me any wrong. That'd be a lot of people. Folks like to victimize somebody they think they can get away with victimizing. Does it look like I spent all of my time running around murdering people? Does it seem to you as if I'm somebody who's been running around doing this whole mass shooting thing? I mean, you guys can go ahead and pretend all you want that I'm going to pull an Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. They pulled that shit in high school. Yeah, because I'm different. I must be an Eric Harris or a Dylan Klebold, and as a result, the staff have to come together and have a meeting to appease a bunch of fucking pansy-ass parents who are afraid that I'm going to go shooting up prom. For what reason? Because I'm fucking different. So because I'm different, Chapel, Nebraska want to treat me like I'm going to be a fucking mass executioner or some crazy shit like that. One of the kids who was the meanest about that was a kid I actually liked. His name was Kyle Staroska. Oh my God, that fucking kid would go off, and he thought it was funny. He thought it was all friendly and funny and fun and games, and didn't think that I should take it personal. Well, you know what? That is something you need to take very fucking personal. Yeah, I'm different. That don't mean I'm a fucking killer. You guys are killers. These people are dead because you looked the fuck the other way. If this happened to a police officer, or this happened to Johnny fucking Depp, for Christ's sake, oh my God, you fucking idiots would be all over it. And people want to talk about poor Johnny Depp. His life is ruined. Holy shit, the dude's rich as fuck. You know what? You come tell me about poor Johnny Depp when he's got to eat out of a fucking dumpster. You tell me about poor Johnny Depp when he spent 6 years going through hell because people want to accuse him of shit he didn't fucking do. Meanwhile, these people, especially law enforcement, want to keep on pretending that I'm schizophrenic and on drugs. Meanwhile, Johnny Depp is showing a bunch of schizophrenic traits, and he's admitting to mass quantities of fucking drugs. Equality? Are you fucking kidding me? Lots of violence in that household too. But the rules ain't the same for him as they are for you. You don't get to take him to civil court because you don't have any goddamn money. And that's what it comes down to. Whether or not you're a human being in this country doesn't got nothing to do with the color of your skin. Doesn't got nothing to do with your gender. It has to do with who's easiest to victimize, who's easiest to get away with. And yes, to some degree, that has something to do with gender. I mean, obviously, the bias nationwide that, you know, it leans heavily towards women are the only people who can be victimized. Men can't be victims. Only black people can be victims of racism. White people can't. These are false narratives. False narratives brought to you by racist movements like BLM and sexist movements like Me Too. How can you say Me Too When you're telling the male victims to go to the back of the bus, to sit down and to shut the fuck up because they're taken away from women's causes. No, we have been focusing on women's causes and women's rights my entire goddamn life. While men are victimized just for existing. But when it comes down to it, a rich black man can assault somebody on fucking TV in front of everybody, telling all of us that violence is okay. You tell me that I just have it, that it's not okay for me. But Will Smith, you guys fucking promote the shit out of violence for him. It's okay, it's okay. He made fun of a bald person. Oh no! And one thing I gotta ask, Basketball Wives. Any of y'all ever seen that show? Is it just me? Or is TV trying to give us the most ignorant, stupid, moronic people that they possibly can on TV? No offense, but Basketball Wives makes black people look like fucking morons. I know lots of black people that are not fucking morons. Of course, when you got the morons on TV representing black people, and that is exactly what they are at that point. They are representative of black people. This is being pushed as a black people's show. Holy fuck! It's about like watching the Kardashians. Holy shit. You care about the Kardashians. You don't give two shits about your neighbor. When your friends are going through hell, you're not going to fucking share their stories, but you're sure as shit going to share the Kardashians, ain't you? Anyway, this video is about 30 minutes long now, so I'm going to end it. You have to commit to action, and none of you were going to. You needed to choose one or the other. Natalie and her friends chose both. They chose to harass me and threaten me and assault me and make my life a living hell, and then to play fucking victim, and nobody gave a shit. Nobody gave a fuck about my side. Don't tell me you're my friends, because you're not. Every single one of you who wants to call me friend, you're a liar. If you're not speaking up, you're a liar. Don't call me friend if you're not willing to hear my side, because you're not. Plain and simple. And don't pretend like I'm a bad person, because after almost 2 years of violence, almost 2 years of threats, I finally threatened people back. And while these officers wanted to tell me it's not illegal, it's not illegal, it's not illegal, it's sure as fuck illegal if I do it, isn't it? This is one of the things that they do to take advantage of us and to present to you a situation where it's magically okay for them to murder us, where it's okay for them to lock us up without the rights that are supposed to be afforded us by law. When it comes to killing cops, I'm not going to say that it's wrong to do so, because they're murdering us in record numbers. Obviously, I am not promoting violence against the police. But if we had the numbers, I absolutely would. If these cowards who are too cowardly to speak up, but they want to suggest going out and shooting these people back, well, you know what? It's okay in the Donbass region, isn't it? It's okay in Ukraine, isn't it? But it's not okay here. They keep saying they don't have the resources. They don't have the resources. Well, with the literally millions of dollars that have spent trying to frame me and also to prevent me from having a goddamn day in court, it's millions of dollars at this point. If one of you guys want to go through and actually do the math, yeah, you'll realize it's not cheap. When you say you don't have the resources, you know what? Dual County spent over $100,000 to have me incarcerated for 7 months. Over $100,000. That's right. They can spend over $100,000 of Dual County's taxpayer dollars to hide their fucking crimes, and you guys look the other fucking way. The places that they sent me weren't cheap. But why did they send me to those places? To shut me up. If the American people were to kill 300 homeless people in one day, you wouldn't bat a fucking eye because, well, statistically, there's pretty close to 300 people. Now, let's say that the homeless people killed 300 cops. Yeah, you guys would start paying attention then, wouldn't you? It wouldn't stop you from killing homeless people, though. You'd probably go at them 10 times harder. But then again, if homeless people killed 300 police officers in a single day, those cops would think twice before fucking with us. We are refugees in this country. There is no place for us. We are constantly told to move along. Whether you say it nicely or not, whether you do it the way that Marcia Estrada did it, or you do it the way that Scott DaCosta did it, you're still doing wrong. When somebody comes to you about abuse, you telling them to move somewhere else does not fix the problem. Maybe you should look at the situation that that person's in before assuming, dumbasses. Now, obviously, I keep doing the wrong thing. I keep trying to get my evidence seen, and I keep trying to get heard. Now, don't get me wrong, through most of this, I have had access where I could go get a firearm if I so chose and go hurt people with it, and I have chosen not to. Out of all the times that I've been falsely arrested, how many of those times were I busted with drugs? None. Not a single one. I was never busted with drugs. How many of them times that they wanted to claim that I was on drugs did they take a whiz quiz? None. It was their word of fucking mouth, and that was good enough. That's not okay. When it comes to killing people, murder is absolutely wrong. But when it comes to defending yourself and your family, by God, whatever means necessary. Those who want to be assholes to me because I'm not happy all the time, they haven't bothered to find out what the fuck I'm going through. They just want to pass judgment like assholes. They sure as hell don't like it back, do they? They want to look the other way until I'm fucking frustrated, and then they want to pretend I'm a villain because I'm frustrated because these people promised to help and didn't. They showed that they're selfish. They only care about themselves. I'm not the only person I fight for, but I fight differently because I think violence is abhorrent. At the same time, what Jew in World War II would not take the opportunity to pick up a rifle and shoot back? I choose not to have guns. I choose not to carry guns. It doesn't mean I don't know nothing about guns. It doesn't mean I don't know how to shoot. It doesn't mean I don't know how to fix them. Well, most of them are pretty easy. It's easy to work on an old World War II rifle. Not so easy to work on an AR-15. But when it all comes down to it, how many people have I shot? How many people have I threatened to shoot? How many people have threatened to kill me, and how many people actually did something about it? And then there's the largest group of cowards in the country. They're also the largest group of voters, which is what is so incredibly pathetic about it. Parents. Dear parents, you are the largest voting population in the United States. Well, you can't do nothing because you're afraid of your kids getting taken. Your neighbor can't do nothing about you because they're afraid for their kids. When the guy down the street gets messed with by the police and they take his kids or mess with his kids, what do? You watch. Hell, you'll go inside and say you're just minding your own business. That's not very American. See, that's the worst thing that the government has done to us. Divide and conquer. They tell you what to think, and that's what you fucking think. They use the media to make you a target because doing it legally isn't going to work because you're not guilty. They knew I wasn't guilty when I went in and spoke with those officers on 29th of December of 2017. They knew I didn't do it. They were already aware that I didn't do it. They were also aware that they didn't have the guy who actually did it. And that if they couldn't find that guy, that framing me was the best thing to do, the next best thing to do. And they coordinated with law enforcement across the state of Colorado to do this, knowing that I was innocent. Just like Scott DaCosta. To prevent me from turning him in, he arrests me, charges me with bogus charges. It goes on the news in Chapel, Nebraska, and lo and behold, people in Chapel, Nebraska don't care if it's true or not. They don't give two shits. They're going to victimize the fuck out of you anyway. Violence doesn't work. In order for violence to work, it has to be a lot of violence all at once. Take Russia, for example. A lot of violence all at once. Now, if the homeless were armed, we could defend ourselves. We would be less likely to be murdered by police if we were armed. It's stupid. I didn't make you cowards. When you guys want to talk about how you would go killing people, it's out of frustration because you don't think you're going to get heard, and you won't. Alone, you will not be heard. Sarah Bacon was going to speak up 5 years ago. 5 years ago, she's telling me, this stuff is so wrong, Sean. Yeah, I see them doing this stuff to you. Then speak up! Why didn't she? Alcoholism. Most of these people who claim to help, when it all comes down to it, they don't want to be seen as who they are. They don't want to be seen as cowards. They don't want to be seen as people who offered to help, but in the end, all they did is get drunk or get fucked up on drugs. Nobody should have to depend on alcoholics. All of us should be able to go to the police when we have a problem and there are people threatening our lives and threatening our families, we should all be able to go to the cops and say, hey, do something about this. When you're called mentally ill, they'll just magically change the rules on you and just keep on changing them. The law is not written that way. None of you ever fought for my rights. Don't bullshit me. And don't send me any friend requests if you aren't actually going to look at evidence and share it. Don't say, oh, I just wanted to be your friend. But that's not a friend. I don't fucking know you. You're some fucking psycho who watched a Natalie Bollinger show that's full of shit. Now you're getting a hold of me to tell me you're fucking sorry. Don't waste my time.